So, you're getting ready for the DTZ B1 Writing exam? Let's talk about a winning strategy. Over the next few minutes, we're going to break down a really simple, step-by-step plan that's designed to help you walk in there with confidence and ace it.
Okay, let's get right to it. This number, this is what it's all about. 30 minutes. That's all you get. In that half hour, you've got to read the task, plan your answer, write the whole thing, and, this is key, proofread it. It's the final sprint, and every single second really does count.
I know. That sounds pretty stressful, right? But what if I told you there's a simple plan that can completely change that feeling? A good strategy can turn all that pressure into pure confidence. So, are you ready to see the plan that's going to make all the difference? Let's do it.
All right, let's dive into our first section, the 30-minute challenge. We'll look at exactly what you can expect when that clock starts ticking. Now, here's the good news. It's just one single task. That's it. Your job is to write a semi-formal or formal message, which is usually going to be an email or a letter. And you know, the best part is that these are exactly the kinds of things you'll actually need to write in everyday life in Germany. So it's super practical.
And just think about how real-world these situations are. You might have to write to cancel an appointment, or tell your building management that the heater's broken, or write a note to your kid's school. See? These aren't just exam questions. They're skills you're actually going to use.
So, what is your mission here? What's the real goal? Understanding this is the absolute key to success. You're not just writing a random text. You're on a mission to fulfill a very specific set of requirements. And that brings us to maybe the most important word for this exam, Leitpunkte. These are the 4 guiding points or content points that you'll find in the instructions. Think of them as your checklist. Your entire text has to be built around these 4 points. And this brings us to rule number 1. And trust me, it's non-negotiable. You absolutely must address all 4 of those guiding points. Your final score really depends on it. Honestly, skipping even one of them is probably the single biggest mistake you can make.
Okay, so you know what you need to do. But how in the world do you fit it all into that tiny 30-minute window? Well, you do it with a simple but really powerful system, the 5-25 strategy. Here's how it breaks down. You're going to spend the first 5 minutes just planning. That means carefully reading the task, making sure you understand those 4 points, and mapping out your response. Then you get a solid 20 minutes for the actual writing. And finally, this is so important, you save the last 5 minutes just for proofreading and fixing any mistakes. Before we jump into the writing part, let's quickly cover a few crucial exam rules. First, you have to write on the official answer sheet. Anything else just won't be graded. Second, use a blue or black pen. And third, and I'm serious about this one, make sure your handwriting is readable. If the examiner can't read it, they can't give you points for it.
All right, now for the main event. How do you actually build the perfect text? Let's look at the blueprint. If you follow these simple steps, you're going to build a solid, high-scoring response every single time.
Before you even think about writing a single word, you have to stop and ask yourself 2 really important questions. First, who am I writing to? Is it a teacher, a government office? This is going to decide your salutation. And second, why am I writing? Am I complaining, apologizing, asking for something? This sets the entire tone of your message.
And you can see the difference right here. In a formal situation, you have to use a proper salutation, like Sehr geehrte Frau Müller. Using an informal hello or Liebe is such a common mistake, and it immediately signals to the examiner that you might not understand the context. It's an easy way to lose points.
So here it is, the basic skeleton for your text. Every formal message you write should follow this exact pattern. You need a clear subject line, the correct salutation, a very brief introduction, then the main body, where you tackle those 4 light points, a closing sentence, and finally, the proper closing and your name.
Now here's a little pro tip for that main body section. Just address the 4 guiding points in the exact order they're given in the task. It's a super simple trick that automatically gives your text a clear, logical structure. You don't even have to think about it. The task itself gives you the roadmap. And that brings us to the final, and honestly, maybe the most critical part of our 5-25 plan, that last check. You cannot underestimate these last 5 minutes. They are your secret weapon for turning a pretty good text into a great one. So what are you looking for in these 5 minutes? Just use this simple checklist. Quickly scan for these common errors. Check your verb and adjective endings. Are your articles, der, die, das, correct? Are all of your nouns capitalized? Big one. And is the verb in the right place in your sentence? Catching just a few of these small mistakes can make a huge difference.
So let's end on this really encouraging idea from the source material itself. With good planning and structure, this task is very manageable. Just remember that. Success on this test isn't about having perfect, flawless German. It's about having a perfect, flawless strategy. So, I'll leave you with this question. Which part of this strategy are you going to practice first? Are you going to work on the 525 timing, or maybe the correction checklist, or just analyzing the task? Whatever you pick, that's your first real step toward walking in and mastering this exam.